The unprovoked attack. On a distant planet, far from the busy worlds of Earth, a peaceful human colony existed. It was a small settlement, nestled on the edge of the galaxy. The humans who lived there had built their lives from the ground up, creating a thriving community. They were simple people, farmers, teachers, engineers, and families, just living their day-to-day lives, unaware of the larger universe around them. They had no idea that beyond their peaceful existence, a deadly alien empire was watching and waiting. For years, the humans had lived without interference, isolated from the conflicts and wars of other planets. The settlement was small, but it was a beacon of hope for those seeking a life far from the turmoil of the galaxy's more populated regions. The colony had a few basic defenses, but nothing that could compare to the vast and powerful alien empires that ruled the stars. They never imagined they would need anything more. However, all of that was about to change. One morning, the sky above the colony darkened, and a low, ominous hum filled the air. The colonists looked up, puzzled, as strange ships began to emerge from the clouds. These were no ordinary spacecraft. They were massive, sleek, and deadly-looking. Their design was unlike anything the humans had ever seen. The ships belonged to an alien empire known for its cruelty and desire for domination. The humans had no way of knowing who they were or what their intentions were. But the sight of the ships alone filled the people with fear. Without warning, the ships unleashed a barrage of laser fire upon the colony. Buildings exploded, and smoke filled the air. People screamed and ran, but it was too late. The attack was swift, brutal, and overwhelming. The humans had no chance to defend themselves. In the blink of an eye, the peaceful life they had known was shattered forever. The first wave of the assault was followed by another. More alien ships descended, sending shockwaves through the ground. Their weapons were powerful, capable of destroying entire buildings in seconds. In the chaos, the colonists fought to escape, but the alien forces had the upper hand. The humans had no idea how to fight back against such advanced technology. The aliens seemed to be everywhere, cutting down anyone who got in their way. Among the survivors was a small group of humans who had managed to find shelter in a nearby cave. They huddled together, shaking with fear, listening to the sounds of destruction above them. The leader of the group, a man named James, tried to stay calm, but even he couldn't hide the panic in his voice. "Stay down," he ordered. "We have to wait this out. They can't stay here forever." But James knew the truth. The alien forces were not going to leave. They had come for a reason, and that reason was far worse than anything the humans could have imagined. As the attack continued, the humans tried desperately to contact other colonies or their home planet, but the alien ships had jammed all communication signals. They were completely cut off from the outside world. The sounds of explosions and screams were a constant reminder of how hopeless the situation had become. No one knew if help would ever come. The fear of the unknown hung heavy in the air. Amidst the chaos, 12 humans lost their lives. They were the first to fall, victims of the alien invasion. Their deaths were not just random casualties. They were the spark that ignited the fire of humanity's revenge. The aliens had killed without mercy, showing no regard for the lives they were destroying. It was a senseless massacre, a clear act of aggression that left the survivors with nothing but anger and a thirst for justice. As the dust settled, the remaining humans gathered in the ruins of their destroyed colony. James stood before them, his face grim but determined. He knew what had to be done. The aliens had killed 12 people, his friends, his family, and in doing so, they had made a grave mistake. The humans might have been weak in comparison to the aliens, but they were not without strength. They had something the aliens could never take from them, the will to fight back. "We will make them pay," James said, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. "This is not the end. It's only the beginning." The survivors nodded, their faces hardening with resolve. The loss of their loved ones was unbearable, but it also lit a fire inside them. The aliens had underestimated humanity. They had thought they could crush them without consequence. They were wrong. The humans didn't know it yet, but the road ahead would be long and dangerous. They would need to gather allies, build their strength, and develop weapons to fight back. But for now, in the ruins of their colony, they made a vow. They would avenge the 12 fallen, and they would not rest until the alien empire paid for what they had done. Gathering the forces, the colony was in ruins. The once peaceful human settlement, now reduced to ashes, was a grim reminder of the brutal alien assault. The survivors huddled together in the shadows of what remained, their minds consumed by a single thought: revenge. They had lost everything: their homes, their friends, their families, but they had something the aliens could not take away: the will to fight. James, the leader of the group, stood tall among the survivors. His face was hardened by grief, but beneath the sorrow was a burning determination. They couldn't let the deaths of the 12 humans be in vain. They needed to rebuild, to rise up and fight back against the alien empire that had destroyed their world. The war was far from over. It was just beginning. "We can't stay here," James said, looking around at the survivors. "We need to find allies, gather supplies, and prepare ourselves. The aliens are strong, but we can be stronger. We just have to fight smarter." His words were not met with hesitation. The survivors knew what had to be done. There was no time to mourn, no time to waste. They had to act quickly if they were going to stand a chance against the alien empire. The humans were outmatched technologically, but they had one advantage: their adaptability and determination. The aliens might have had the weapons, but the humans had the will to fight for their survival. James and his group set out to other nearby human colonies, hoping to find other survivors who shared their thirst for revenge. They traveled through harsh terrain, navigating abandoned cities and avoiding alien patrols. The journey was dangerous, but they were determined to rebuild what they had lost and strike back against the invaders. As they traveled, they encountered other human survivors, some hiding in fear, others fighting back in small skirmishes against the aliens. Slowly but surely, the survivors began to unite. They came together to form a resistance, sharing knowledge, weapons, and resources. The more they met, the stronger they became. Humanity, once scattered and powerless, was beginning to come together as one force. The resistance was made up of people from all walks of life: farmers, soldiers, engineers, and even scientists. Each person brought their unique skills to the table. While the humans lacked the advanced technology of the alien empire, they had something that the aliens could never replicate: their ingenuity. Engineers began to repair old weapons and build new ones from scrap materials. Scientists worked on creating new technologies to counter the alien threat. Together, they crafted weapons that, while crude compared to the aliens' high-tech gear, would give them a fighting chance. "We may not have their technology, but we have something better: our brains," said Dr. Sarah, one of the scientists who joined the resistance. "We can develop new weapons, new strategies. We just have to be smart about it." Her words were a rallying cry for the survivors. The humans had always been innovators, and in their darkest hour, they would rely on their creativity and resourcefulness to take down their much stronger enemies. But despite their efforts, they knew the road ahead would be difficult. The alien forces were everywhere, patrolling the skies and monitoring every move the humans made. They were powerful, efficient, and merciless, and they would not hesitate to wipe out anyone who stood in their way. But the humans were no longer helpless. They were not the same people they had been when the aliens first attacked. "We can't just wait for them to come to us," James said, rallying the group. "We need to take the fight to them. We'll go to their homeworld, their strongholds. We'll make them regret ever attacking us." The decision was made. The humans would not wait around to be destroyed. They would fight back, no matter the cost. The resistance began to grow bolder, launching small-scale raids against alien supply lines and weak points. Each success, no matter how small, strengthened their resolve. Every alien base they destroyed was a step closer to their ultimate goal, revenge. The humans were no longer afraid. They had a purpose now. They were fighting not just for survival, but for the 12 who had died in the attack, for all the innocent lives lost. The thought of those 12 souls drove them forward. The aliens had made a grave mistake. They had underestimated humanity. As the resistance grew in strength and numbers, James and his team began to prepare for their greatest challenge yet, an all-out assault on the heart of the alien empire. They didn't have the resources the aliens did, but they had something far more dangerous, a burning desire for revenge, and the unity of a people determined to take back what was theirs. The humans had suffered, but they would not surrender. The aliens had taken 12 lives, but the humans would take millions in return. The war was on, and humanity was ready to show the universe what they were capable of. The first strike. With their newly formed resistance growing stronger by the day, James and his team knew they had to act quickly. The alien forces were vast, but humanity had learned to adapt and fight in ways that the invaders never anticipated. They began with small strikes, raids against alien outposts, supply lines, and weak points in their defenses. These weren't victories that would end the war, but they were the start of something bigger. The humans had no illusions about their chances. They weren't going to march into an alien stronghold and win easily. But they had one thing going for them. They knew how to think like the enemy. Their first target was an alien supply depot hidden in a remote region. The aliens thought it was secure, safe from any attack. They never imagined that a small group of determined humans would dare to strike so far from their own territory. James, along with a small team of resistance fighters, snuck into the area under the cover of night. They moved quietly, their weapons in hand, every step measured and calculated. The alien patrols were sparse, and the humans used their knowledge of the land to avoid detection. The plan was simple: destroy the supply depot, cripple the aliens' ability to resupply, and leave before the enemy had time to react. The night air was thick with tension as the humans approached the depot. It was an old mining facility, surrounded by high walls and guarded by a handful of alien soldiers. From the outside, it looked quiet, almost abandoned. But the humans knew better. Inside, the alien forces had weapons, food, and fuel, everything they needed to continue their reign of terror. Ready? James whispered to his team. Everyone nodded. There was no turning back now. They split into groups, moving silently through the shadows. The first group planted explosives on the outer walls, while the second group sabotaged the facility's power grid. Within minutes, the depot would be crippled. The alien forces had no idea what was coming. The countdown began. The tension was unbearable as the humans worked quickly and efficiently, knowing they had only moments before the alarm was raised. They finished their tasks and retreated into the darkness, waiting for the explosion that would signal their success. Then it happened. A series of deafening blasts rocked the ground, lighting up the night sky. The supply depot was destroyed in a fiery explosion. The shockwave sent alien guards flying, and the sounds of alarms blared throughout the facility. The humans had done it. They had struck the first blow. The aliens were caught off guard. They had underestimated the humans' ability to infiltrate their territory. The explosion sent them into chaos, and the humans used the confusion to slip away undetected. The mission was a success, but it came with a heavy price. The humans knew that this was just the beginning of a much larger fight. As they retreated back to their base, James couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. This was just the first step. The humans had shown the aliens that they were not to be underestimated, but they were also aware of the danger they had just invited upon themselves. The aliens wouldn't take this defeat lightly. They would come after them with even more force. "This is just a taste of what's to come," James said, his voice grim. "We've made our first strike. Now we wait for the retaliation." And sure enough, the alien forces responded quickly. Within days, the skies above their base were filled with alien ships, descending in full force. They were angry. They were ready to destroy anyone who dared to challenge them. But the humans weren't afraid. They had struck a blow, and they would strike again. The humans didn't have the power to stop the alien fleet, but they knew they didn't need to. They had something far more important: the will to fight back, no matter the cost. The retaliation came in the form of a massive assault. Alien ships bombarded the humans' base, and waves of soldiers landed to crush the resistance once and for all. It was the first real taste of war for the humans. The battle was fierce, and the resistance was pushed to the brink, but they held their ground. They fought with everything they had, using the knowledge they had gained from their previous raids to outsmart the aliens. Despite the overwhelming odds, the humans managed to hold their ground. The alien forces underestimated the human spirit, their resilience, their ability to adapt to any situation. The first strike was over, but it was far from the end. The humans had shown the universe that they would not be crushed, that they would not be silenced. "We've made our mark," James said, rallying his team after the battle. Now we move on to the next phase. The humans had taken the first step toward their ultimate goal: vengeance. They had hurt the alien empire, and now the aliens would feel the full force of humanity's fury. There would be no turning back. Humanity's fury unleashed. The success of their first strike was a turning point. The humans had sent a clear message. They were not weak, they were not helpless, and they would not go quietly into the night. But the battle was far from over. The alien empire, furious at the damage inflicted on their supply depot, launched a series of devastating retaliations. However, the humans were ready. They had learned from their mistakes, adjusted their tactics, and most importantly, their resolve had grown stronger. The alien assault came in waves, like a storm that wouldn't stop. Massive ships descended from the sky, raining down destruction upon the humans' hidden bases. The ground trembled as they unleashed their might. But this time, the humans were not afraid. They fought back with everything they had. The resistance fighters, now well-trained and armed with salvaged alien technology, held their ground. James stood at the front lines, leading the charge. His eyes burned with a fiery determination, his mind focused on the task ahead. The aliens had taken 12 innocent lives, and now they were about to pay the price. Every blast, every shot fired, was a reminder of what they had done. The battle raged on, and the humans fought with a rage that matched the strength of the alien forces. The humans' first victory had shown them that they could stand toe-to-toe with the alien empire, and they had no intention of backing down now. The resistance fighters set up traps and ambushes, outsmarting the aliens at every turn. They used guerrilla tactics to strike from the shadows, hitting the aliens where it hurt the most. Each raid, each successful strike, sent a clear message. The humans were not the helpless victims the aliens thought they were. As the battle wore on, the humans became more strategic. They knew that they couldn't win by brute force alone. They needed to outthink their enemies. The resistance began gathering intelligence on the alien forces, learning their weaknesses, and finding ways to exploit them. They sabotaged alien supply lines, damaged their communication networks, and crippled their war machines. Slowly but surely, the balance of power began to shift. But the aliens were not going to give up easily. Their retaliations grew more intense, and they sent more troops to quell the growing rebellion. The humans were outnumbered, outgunned, and facing an enemy with far superior technology. Yet the more the aliens pushed, the stronger the humans became. They had something that the aliens could never replicate: unity and an unwavering desire for justice. In one of their most daring operations, the humans managed to infiltrate the alien command center on a nearby moon. The goal was clear: take down the heart of the alien forces. This would be a gamble, a high-risk mission that could either crush the rebellion or deal a significant blow to the alien empire. The mission was dangerous. The humans knew that they were walking into the lion's den. The alien base was heavily fortified, surrounded by layers of defenses, and guarded by the most advanced soldiers the aliens had. But the humans weren't afraid. They had a plan. Using their knowledge of the alien systems, the humans bypassed security measures, silently infiltrating the base. They planted explosives in key areas, communication hubs, power sources, and weapon storage facilities. The team moved like shadows, silent and deadly. The tension was palpable as they reached the heart of the alien base. James and his team reached the command center, where they confronted the alien leaders, the masterminds behind the invasion. The aliens had no idea what was happening. As the explosives were set, James gave the signal. The countdown began. The explosion rocked the base. The command center was destroyed in a fiery burst, sending shockwaves through the entire moon. The humans had succeeded in crippling the alien leadership. Their victory sent a ripple through the alien forces, disorienting them and causing chaos within their ranks. But the humans didn't stop there. They followed up with another wave of attacks, striking even harder, knowing that the aliens would now be vulnerable. The momentum was on their side. They had taken the fight to the aliens' doorstep, and now the aliens had to deal with the consequences. Humanity's fury was unleashed. Every alien they killed, every base they destroyed, was a small victory for the 12 who had died. The humans were not just fighting for survival. They were fighting for revenge. And with each passing day, the resistance grew bolder, more determined. The alien empire, once confident in their superiority, now found themselves on the defensive. Their forces, spread thin across the galaxy, were losing ground. The humans had proved that they were more than just survivors. They were warriors, and the alien empire was about to learn just how powerful the human spirit could be. James stood on the front lines, watching as the tide of battle shifted in their favor. The fight was far from over, but the humans were no longer the underdogs. They had become the aggressors, and they would not stop until the alien empire was brought to its knees. "We're not done yet," James said, his voice filled with resolve. "The war has only just begun." The humans' fury had been unleashed, and the aliens would soon understand that they had made a grave mistake. They had killed 12 humans, and now humanity would make them pay for every life lost. The final battle. As the war between humanity and the alien empire raged on, the stakes grew higher. The humans had become a force to be reckoned with. The aliens, who once thought of humanity as weak and insignificant, now found themselves on the defensive. The humans had taken the fight to their homeworld, their strongholds, and they were not stopping. The alien empire had underestimated them, and now they were paying the price. James stood at the head of the resistance, surveying the battlefield. The humans had suffered, lost loved ones, and watched their world burn, but their resolve had only grown stronger. They had one goal now: to end the alien empire's reign of terror once and for all. The final battle was upon them, and this would be the moment that determined the fate of both species. The humans had spent months preparing for this moment. They had gathered allies from all corners of the galaxy, trained their fighters, and built weapons from the remnants of the alien technology they had captured. They knew that they couldn't defeat the aliens with brute force alone, but together they had a chance. The final assault would not be a single attack, but a coordinated strike aimed at crippling the alien empire at its core. The humans had learned the aliens' weaknesses. Their communication systems were vulnerable. Their fleets could be divided, and their leadership was disoriented after the loss of their command center. With this knowledge, the humans launched a full-scale attack on the alien homeworld, targeting their most critical infrastructure. As the human forces descended upon the alien planet, the skies were filled with both human and alien ships. The battle was fierce, the sounds of explosions and gunfire echoing through the atmosphere. But the humans were relentless. They fought with the fury of those who had lost everything and had nothing left to lose. Each strike, each successful mission, brought them closer to their goal. The alien forces fought back with everything they had. They sent waves of their best soldiers, advanced warships, and devastating weapons. But despite their superior technology, they were fighting against something they could never understand: the power of human will. The humans fought as one, determined to avenge the 12 lives lost and to ensure that no other planet would suffer the same fate. James led the final push toward the heart of the alien empire, the alien capital city. The resistance fighters, now a united front of brave men and women, stormed the city with a single goal: to destroy the alien leadership and bring an end to the war. The streets were filled with chaos as human and alien soldiers clashed. But the humans were not intimidated. They had come too far to turn back now. James and his team infiltrated the alien command center, the heart of the Empire's power. It was heavily guarded, surrounded by the best alien soldiers, but the humans were prepared. They fought their way through, using all the skills they had honed over the course of the war. The tension in the air was palpable as they moved closer to their target. At last, they'd reached the central command room. The alien leaders, who had once believed themselves invincible, were waiting. They were surprised to see humans standing before them, armed and ready for battle. The alien generals were arrogant, thinking they could still turn the tide of the war. But they underestimated humanity once again. "We've come for justice," James said, his voice cold with fury. "You killed 12 humans. Now you will pay for every life lost." The final battle was swift and brutal. The humans fought with everything they had, determined to bring the alien empire to its knees. The alien leaders fought back fiercely, but they were outmatched. The humans had one thing the aliens could never replicate: the strength of their spirit. The alien generals fell one by one, their empire crumbling as the humans pressed forward. When the last alien leader was defeated, the humans stood victorious. The alien empire had fallen. The humans had wiped out millions of aliens in retaliation, but the victory came at a cost. Many lives were lost along the way, and the scars of the war would remain forever. But humanity had proven something important: they would not be conquered. They had shown the galaxy that even in the face of overwhelming odds, they would rise up and fight for their survival. James stood in the ruins of the alien capital, looking out at the devastation. The war was over, but the price had been high. The 12 humans who had died in the beginning were avenged, but the victory felt bittersweet. The humans had fought for their families, their homes, and their future. They had done what they had set out to do, but at what cost? "We did it," James said quietly, his voice filled with both relief and sadness. "We stopped them. We won." The survivors, though battered and weary, looked to the future with hope. They had rebuilt their lives and taken down an empire. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had shown the universe that they were not to be underestimated, and that no matter the odds, they would fight for their place in the stars. Victory and revenge. The war was over. The alien empire had crumbled beneath the weight of humanity's fury. The once dominant alien forces, who had believed themselves to be untouchable, now lay shattered and defeated. The humans had avenged the 12 innocent lives lost in the beginning, but the victory felt bittersweet. The cost of the war was immeasurable. Lives had been lost on both sides, and the galaxy had been forever changed. Still, there was a sense of triumph in the air. Humanity had proven that even in the darkest of times, they would not be broken. James stood at the edge of the battlefield, watching as the last of the alien ships fell from the sky. The sky, once filled with enemy warships, was now clear, the stars shining brightly above them. The final remnants of the alien empire were being swept away, their once proud fleets reduced to debris. The war was over, but it would leave scars that would never heal. The surviving humans gathered in the aftermath, their faces weary but filled with pride. They had lost so much: homes, families, and loved ones, but they had fought for each other. They had fought for the 12 who had died in the first attack, and now, with the alien empire gone, they could begin to rebuild their lives. "We did it," James said softly, turning to his comrades. His voice carried a weight that matched the sorrow and relief in his heart. "We avenged them. We avenged all of them." The others nodded, some with tears in their eyes, others with expressions of quiet resolve. The pain of loss would never fully fade, but they had made it through the fire. They had stood together and overcome the impossible. The humans' victory did not just mark the end of the war. It marked the beginning of something new. The alien empire had been a blight on the galaxy, and its fall would send ripples throughout the stars. The humans had proven that even the smallest spark of resistance could ignite a fire that could burn down entire empires. They had shown the galaxy that they were a force to be reckoned with, that they would fight to the bitter end for their survival. The survivors began to rebuild their homes, their families, and their communities. The galaxy was now a much safer place for all the species that lived within it. The humans had reclaimed their world, but they also knew that their responsibility extended beyond their own borders. They would stand as protectors, as defenders of those who could not defend themselves. They had learned a valuable lesson through their struggle: unity, resilience, and strength in the face of overwhelming odds could defeat even the greatest of enemies. James stood at the center of a gathering, surrounded by those who had fought alongside him. They had become a family in the truest sense, bound by the trials they had faced together. It wasn't just the victory that united them. It was the journey. They had learned to trust one another, to sacrifice for each other, and to fight with a shared purpose. But despite their triumph, they could not forget the 12. The faces of those who had fallen in the beginning were forever etched in their memories. Their sacrifice had ignited the fury of humanity, and in their names, the humans had won the war. The survivors would carry their memories with them, honoring them in every step they took from that day forward. "Never forget what we've lost," James said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "But also never forget what we've gained. We are stronger now together, and we will never let anyone harm us again." The crowd cheered, their spirits lifted by his words. They had lost much, but they had also gained something far more precious: the knowledge that they could face any challenge and come out victorious. The alien empire had underestimated them, and now the universe would know that humans were not to be ignored. As the sun set on the battlefield, casting a golden light over the ruins of the alien empire, the humans stood together. They had fought for vengeance, but they had also fought for something more: hope. They had given the galaxy a message that no one could ignore. Humanity would never again be a victim. They would fight to the end, and in the end, they would always rise. The war was over, but humanity's story was just beginning. The 12 lives that had been lost would never be forgotten, and in the victory that followed, they would forever be honored. The galaxy now knew the true strength of humanity, a strength built on courage, unity, and the unyielding desire for justice.